Welcome to the warm call facilitation video. This video is designed to walk you through the process of launching your coaching practice, identifying your ideal client, building a prospect list, understanding the connectors in your network, and successfully facilitating prospecting calls or texts and warm calls. Let's walk through what you need to know before you pick up the phone. Launching a growth coaching practice for leadership teams is one of the most honorable give-back things you can do, and it leads directly to this work. Your ideal client typically falls within the $5 million to $150 million revenue range and has between 10 and 250 employees. That's the level of complexity Bloom Growth OS is built to serve exceptionally well. These are the kinds of privately held businesses you want to be looking for. Businesses where the owner is on the leadership team, working with a functional leadership team in place. Now, the psychographic piece is just as important, maybe more so. Ideal clients are open-minded, respectful, appreciative, growth-oriented, frustrated, want help, and are willing to be open, honest, and vulnerable. As a coach, what's amazing is that in the business development process, you'll come across people who are clearly frustrated. They've hit a ceiling, they feel stuck, they know something has to change. These are the ones who are ready. They're the ones who will engage with you and are eager to start. The word ideal here is key. Yes, we have great clients who fall below or above the revenue and employee numbers. Those are flexible. What's not flexible is the psychographic fit. That part is essential. If you want your life to feel like color by numbers, clear, smooth, and straightforward, then focus on this ideal profile. It's not a hard limit, but it's your best guide. And please don't take on anyone who doesn't fit the psychographic, even if the business numbers look great. Now that you know who you're looking for, it's time to build your prospect list. Pull from past clients, former colleagues, friends who run businesses, and business owners in your community. Think 10 to 20 names. Focus on people who already know, like, or trust you, or who are one good conversation away from it. When you find these, this becomes your starting point for building your list within your network and beginning the business development process. These will also be your highest ROI clients. For the amount of energy you put into the relationship as a coach, what they get out of it, and what you get out of it, these are ideal. Now, none of us can script it in such a way that we build our entire practice on only these people. But if you don't have a focus on what ideal looks like, it's hard to know where to begin. You can grow to 12 clients pretty quickly. It doesn't have to take 2 years. You could do it in 12 to 15 months. If you have 50 to 100 business owners you have enough relationships with to send a text and schedule a call, you're in great shape. For those of you who come from a peer group, it doesn't really matter which one, it's usually pretty easy to have 50 to 100 people you've met through those events who will take a call with you. Now, a quick note, a lot of these peer groups have pretty strict non-solicitation bumpers, and it's one of their core principles. So you're not soliciting the group. You're reaching out to people you have a meaningful one-on-one relationship with outside the group. Because of that friendship or personal connection, it turns into a natural conversation. Don't go after acquaintances and don't come across as salesy. And don't use email. Email tends to feel more solicitous than a text or a phone call. All of that's true, and you've got to be mindful of it. You won't have success if something about your approach makes people feel like you're soliciting them. It feels disingenuous, and this whole thing works best when it's genuinely framed as asking for help. When it comes to how to talk about Bloom Growth OS, especially when someone is already using another operating system, remember this: most of the people you're going to reach out to already know an operating system. First, don't say anything negative about the competition. Someone will say, well, I don't know your operating system, but I know I'm on XYZ operating system. That's fine. All you say is, we are more comprehensive yet simpler, thanks to the integration of technology. That's it. That's the only phrase I'd invite you to use. Please don't go down the path of comparing operating systems or dissecting the pros and cons of all operating systems in the marketplace. I'm a very knowledgeable person about the pros and cons of all of them, and I'd still hate to get into that conversation. We could go on and on about differentiators, but honestly, I don't think you need to. The more you try to promote differentiators against the competition, the more likely it is that you hurt your own credibility. I usually say something like, I love so many of the people in the other operating systems. They've all got their strengths. This one is just a little more comprehensive and simple. It's contemporary, it's updated, and it's the one I have chosen. When can we schedule our call? That phrase is powerful. It's intriguing. It doesn't fully answer their question, but it leaves them wondering, what tech? What do you mean? And that's the point. I could keep talking, but the fewer words I use, the better. It leaves space that creates curiosity. Silence is your friend here. Now, think about connectors. These are people who may not be your ideal clients, but are well connected and might introduce you to someone who is. Connectors often know exactly who to send your way. You already know many of these business owners, and you can text them. Some of the best connectors are CPAs. They tend to have the richest relationships of all four types of connectors. They're tight with business owners, so CPAs are absolutely the best of the best when it comes to connectors. As soon as you find a CPA firm that genuinely believes introducing you to their clients helps those clients grow a better business, that firm can fill your whole practice. You could have one CPA firm that introduces you to 12 of their clients and advocates for them to work with you. Then those clients start referring others, and the momentum builds. The next thing you know, the CPA firm says, "Why don't you come to our client appreciation event? We'll pay for the food and drinks. Would you be willing to speak to 45 of our clients about what you do with leadership teams?" That's what you're looking for, the dream connectors. So either you already know these business owners yourself, or you know the connectors. In either case, humbly go ask for help. We've got a whole process to help you work with connectors and grow your business. You shouldn't have to go outside the network you've built over the last 30 years to make this happen. Given the businesses you've been involved in, financial advising, CPA firms, real estate, and more, you already have access to the right people. Having a network in the target market is the one thing we can't teach you. That's why, as part of the screening process before you joined, we confirmed that your network was already built. It's also why 25-year-olds typically don't succeed at becoming growth coaches. They simply don't have the network or the credibility yet. So this turns out to be a bit of a midlife privilege. In the Becoming a Bloom Growth Coach workbook, we've laid out a full connector strategy. That includes different types of connectors, CPAs, lawyers, bankers, insurance reps, and we've included what to say, how to approach them, sample email templates, and how to leverage those relationships to get introductions to ideal clients. So always be on the lookout for connections. They are everywhere. Earlier in your life, you didn't get to make $500,000 a year doing part-time work. But now, after everything you've invested in your network and your experience, you can. Once that list is built and you have your connectors, you're ready to move into the business development pipeline. These are the people you'll reach out to and offer your coaching services and the system. When prospecting, your goal is simple. Text or call them to schedule a 25-minute warm call. You're not asking them to sign up for coaching, you're just getting that warm call on the calendar. And that warm call is almost always with the business owner. From there, you need to be in action. The most important part is what we call 5 calls a day, but this isn't about going on autopilot or checking boxes on the business development checklist. This is about having meaningful conversations. Now, this whole 5 calls a day concept, what it's saying is be in action. You've got your list. Make the calls, send the texts, meet people, network, do the things. That's what gives you momentum to build your coaching practice. And once you land that first client, something shifts. Something happens inside you. The passion, the joy, the love for what you're doing kicks in because it's magical. You're connecting with people. You're meeting with business owners, asking meaningful questions, getting curious, learning about their business, and understanding their world. It doesn't have to be rapid fire or transactional. It's simply a consistent connection with entrepreneurs on your list or connectors in your network. This takes hard work. You will need to dedicate at least 20 hours a week or more, and it will still feel hard because starting a business is hard. The warm call is the second step in the business development process. The singular outcome of a warm call with a business owner is this: schedule the 90-minute discovery meeting, that's it. Then, in that 90-minute discovery meeting, which is typically with the owner and a small version of their leadership team, you'll give them everything they need to decide whether to schedule Bloom Day 1. We'll cover the 90-minute discovery meeting in a separate facilitation video. Now let's talk numbers. For every 10 of these warm calls you have, you can expect to book about 3 discovery meetings. From those, you'll usually get 1 client. When those warm calls come from direct referrals, it's more like 4-2-1, or even better. 4 warm calls lead to 2 discovery meetings, and one of them becomes a client. Why? because your clients are referring you to their friends casually, at barbecues, at dinner, or inside conversations. One person says, "How's business?" Their friend answers, "Honestly, the best thing that's happened is we brought in this guy who meets with us every quarter, and our growth has been insane." Then they say, "You've got to talk to this guy. All the pain you're describing? I had it, it's gone now." That's how you get referrals. And when you finally talk to that referral, they'll say, "Yeah, my neighbor already sold me on this. Just tell me how to sign up." But before all that, you need to learn the business development process. Learn the words to say. Practice them. Memorize them. That's what allows you to move people through the pipeline and start getting your first clients. You start by building the list. Then we'll give you the words to say to begin scheduling those warm calls. From there, you move them through the pipeline, all the way to day one facilitation. Once you've got that day one booked, that's when it's time to dive into the videos and scripts. We'll walk you through the facilitation of day one. You'll still feel anxious, that's normal, but we're here to help you succeed. And for those of you already doing this, you're succeeding in spades with your clients, even before you fully know what's going on. Now, when prospecting, show up with the intention of creating a connection, not pressure. Start the conversation by sharing why you reached out and what you're up to. Let them know you're launching a coaching practice and are in conversations with a few folks who might be a good fit. You're not selling coaching. You're simply offering to explore whether coaching could support where they are right now. You have to be humble. You have to be willing to ask for help. This is not about ego. You're reaching out to entrepreneurs you know well and humbly asking for help. If you're actually on the phone with someone, a great opening line is, "Hey, Scott, thanks for taking my call. I'll be brief." That phrase came straight from a sales mastery class with one of the top sales professionals in the country. It's effective. It sets the tone. Never open with, "Hey Dave, is now a good time?" Or, "Do you have a minute?" They picked up the phone, they're talking to you, that means they do have a minute. If you ask whether it's a good time, you're just inviting them to say no, and then you're flustered. Instead, when they answer, just say, "Thanks for taking my call. I'll be brief." You're making one simple request. "I'm starting a new growth coaching practice, and I'd really appreciate your help." Then pause. Just wait. They'll usually say, "Sure, how can I help?" Or, "I'd love to help," because these are people who know you, trust you, and want to support you. Let me give you a real example. A coach I know was reaching out to someone who ran a $500 million business. This was a YPOer in North Dakota. I asked, "Sam, how well do you know this guy?" He said, "Well, I mentored his kids. I helped with a college thing." "I know him pretty well." I said, "Then just ask for his help. You have a real relationship with him." Tom made the call and told him what he was doing. This business owner said, "You can't practice on my team. We're good. But I know a lot of people I can introduce you to." That's it. That's how simple it can be. Also, always have dates and times ready to offer. If you leave the call without scheduling the next step, you're introducing uncertainty. Say something like, "I'll send you 3 or 4 options over the next week." Just pick one. Even better, schedule it on the spot. "Do you have 25 minutes tomorrow?" I promise it won't take more than 25, maybe just 15. Sometimes they'll say, "I have time now." You can take it, but be mindful. They may not be mentally ready. If you can, try to book it for the next day. It feels more intentional, and you're more likely to have their full attention. You can skip the initial call altogether and go straight to the 25-minute warm call via text, but please do not email. Things don't move forward in writing. This is business to business, and in B2B, everything moves forward verbally. Email is for vendors, text is for friends. These are friends. If you have their mobile number, that's your green light to text. Text works. I've had huge success texting people, lots of people, to schedule that 25-minute call. Say something like, "Hey, I'm launching this coaching practice and could use your help. Can you take a 25-minute call sometime in the next few days? I've got availability at these times." If you're in WhatsApp groups, maybe 100 of them like me, don't respond directly in the group. Instead, message people one-on-one. You don't want to get flagged for soliciting. But when the timing is right and you've got the relationship, that message lands well. Remember, the sale never happens outside a real conversation in B2B. In B2C, people buy things without ever talking to a person. But not here. In my previous business, I'd text someone I hadn't talked to in years. "Hey, Michael, we haven't caught up in a long time. Let's reconnect." Here are a few times that work for me. You're reconnecting as a friend. The conversation starts naturally, catching up on life, asking about the kids, and eventually they'll say, "So what are you up to these days?" Now, one thing to avoid up front, Calendly links. Don't send a scheduling link before someone has agreed to meet. It can feel cold and impersonal. You can offer the link after they've agreed. If you're worried about double booking yourself or keeping track manually, just say, "Great, I'll have my assistant send over a few times for my calendar." Then, right after the call, text your EA. Say, "Please send 4 or 5 date and time options that I'm available over the next 10 days to this person." Speed matters here. Responsiveness is everything. If you say you'll follow up and don't for 24 hours, you've already lost credibility. Be quick. Wow them with how fast you follow through. And remember, your assistant should send those emails from your email address, not theirs. Now, some of you are just fine doing this yourself. You've got that COO-style execution-focused brain. But others are all vision and no follow-through, and you should get help. Get systems in place. If you're super busy and running outreach at scale, you might even say, "I've got to jump into another meeting, but my EA will call you within the hour. She has my calendar in front of her." Create space. Then have your EA follow up to schedule it right away. The faster your sales process moves, the better your chances of converting. Momentum matters. Delays kill deals. There is a sweet spot in this process when everything flows and people just naturally become clients. But any extended gap in communication drops the likelihood they move forward. Sometimes people will call you back right after you text them. You can take the call if you want, but I usually make an excuse and reschedule for the next day. I want them centered and present. I want the time blocked. It feels more significant. The challenge with taking the call right then is that they may only have 10 minutes, and once the moment's gone, you may not get it back. So again, get it scheduled. That 25-minute time block matters. Don't overthink it. You're simply getting a 25-minute call on the calendar with friends in your network. And a lot of them would love to have that conversation with you. Now, let's look at an example of a prospecting call. This is the conversation that typically happens before the warm call, often initiated through a text or a brief phone exchange to get that 25-minute meeting on the calendar.
Hey, Jamie. So good to catch you. Thanks for picking up.
Of course. Always good to hear from you. What's going on?
I'll be brief. I've been reaching out to a few friends in my network as I start a new chapter by launching a growth coaching practice. And honestly, you came to mind right away.
Oh, cool. What kind of coaching?
It's really about giving back and helping leaders get more of what they want. What I'd really love to ask is for your help.
Sure, how can I help?
I'm setting up chats with people I respect just to share what I'm up to and get their thoughts. You've been in my world for a while, and I really value your perspective. I just asked for 25 minutes or less. Would you be up for that sometime this week or next?
Yeah, I think I could do that.
Amazing. I've got time Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. What works for you?
Friday morning works.
Perfect. I'll send over a calendar invite for 9:30. I really appreciate it, Jamie. Looking forward to catching up.
That's it. Friendly, natural, and human. The tone isn't salesy. It's about connection, curiosity, and respect. You're not pushing anything. You're simply opening the door to a meaningful conversation by asking for help and listening well when they say yes. During the warm call, your job is to dig for pain along the way. When someone has pain, they're ready to start. That means you listen for it, document it, and reflect it back to them clearly. You're not guessing, you're using their words. Before the call, take a moment to jot down a few things. The name of the person on your list, how you know them, how well you know them, and the type of business they're in. This prep helps you enter the conversation with clarity and confidence. They need to have a yearning for growth. They need to want more. They need to be open-minded and in pain. There's a strong correlation there. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I started was not practicing. It really took 5, 6, 7 calls before I got comfortable. Early on, I was just auto-dialing, going through the motions, info dumping instead of truly connecting. Connection is everything. Culturally, I'd say, show up with a helpful heart. You're not here to sell. You're not here to make money. You're here to help. That's the right place to be coming from on this business development journey. It feels better and it works better. To get started, you can say something like, "Can I ask you some direct questions about your business to determine if what I have to offer might be helpful for you or someone you know?" I'll keep your answers confidential. That phrase builds trust immediately and gives them permission to open up without pressure. Next, think about what you might say to create a background of relatedness. This is a short moment to build connection. Maybe mention how you know each other, a shared contact, or even just a genuine compliment about their business or journey. During the conversation, your goal is to draw out something that really matters to them, something real, tangible, and meaningful. Often what drives a yes is not business metrics. It's something personal, a desire for more time with family. Peace of mind, less stress. That emotional anchor, that's where the real connection begins. Ask questions that invite reflection. Try, most entrepreneurs I know want to increase one of these three things: growth, profit, or freedom. What do you want more of? Or, what's your biggest obstacle to achieving that? You can also ask, if you had a magic wand and could change one thing about your business, what would it be? And why? Or simply, what's the growth trajectory right now? I was on a call with a guy in California. He was a referral, and we scheduled a 25-minute warm call. He talked, and I kept listening. At one point, I asked, what do you want more of out of your business? That question uncovered pain. Another one I love is, what's not working in your business? That 25-minute call turned into 50 minutes. And at the end, he asked, so, what do we do next? I didn't even have to pitch. All I said was, Matt, it's clear to me you're struggling with this. And he goes, yeah, that's exactly what we're dealing with. I was just repeating back what he already told me. That's the key. We're mirroring. They feel heard. They feel seen. And that's when trust happens. The key question is, what do you want more of? You don't leave the warm call without asking that. Whatever they want, that's your bridge to showing how Bloom Growth helps them get it. It really doesn't matter whether they say they want to exit in 18 months, grow faster, or fix their culture. This system helps teams get what they want despite the chaos. And that's why I feel so good about it. Keep in mind, some of the most powerful questions dig into quality of life. Try asking, are you able to spend time with your family and friends the way you want to? Or, do you have as much free time as you'd like? Or even, what's your biggest frustration right now? When you start hearing those answers, slow down. Go deeper. Ask why. Not once, but gently 5 times. When someone shares a challenge, ask, why do you think that is? Then, why hasn't it been solved yet? Why is this coming up now? Why is this important to you? Every why gives them more clarity and deepens the conversation. This is where connection is built. As they respond, stay present. Ask open-ended, non-judgmental questions. If they pause, let it breathe. If they say something surprising, stay grounded. Your energy gives them permission to be honest. Use conversation extenders. Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? What's the real challenge here for you? What's the impact of that day to day? These prompts keep the dialogue flowing and give them space to reflect. When someone brings up a past effort that didn't work, say, what part of that didn't work? Why do you think it didn't stick? If they mention a team issue, ask, what do you think is underneath that? Your job isn't to diagnose or fix. You're simply reflecting and clarifying. You're holding up a mirror so they can see more clearly. Let them come to their own insights. You don't need to be the answer. You just need to be present. Now, when you hear that anchor, when you hear their why, you'll know it's time to move into the ask. We're almost at time, and I want to be mindful of what we committed to. I want you to know that I'm committed to helping you get more of what XYZ you said you want. Wouldn't that be amazing? Let it breathe. Then add, the next step is a 90-minute discovery meeting with the smallest version of your leadership team, usually 3 to 7 people. I'll facilitate a real and honest conversation that helps uncover opportunities for growth and surface what's holding you back. I can come to your office or we can meet on Zoom, whatever's easiest. I just ask that we keep it distraction-free. If your team's open to that, I promise it'll be valuable no matter what you decide. Then you close with, how does that sound to you? Can we schedule something? Have 3 to 4 dates ready and book it on the spot. That's your final box on the worksheet. Words for the ask, clear future on next steps. Now that you've heard the strategy, let's bring it to life. In the next section, you'll listen to a full warm call conversation. Pay close attention to how the coach leads with curiosity, listens actively, and uses the exact tools we just discussed. This will help you visualize how your own calls might sound and feel.
Hey, Jamie. So good to see you. Thanks again for carving out a few minutes today.
Yeah, of course. I was curious after you reached out. Happy to catch up.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. As I mentioned, I've been reconnecting with a few friends I respect as I've been launching this growth coaching practice. I thought of you right away, just the way you've built your business always stood out to me.
Oh, wow, thanks so much. It means a lot. So tell me what this is all about.
For sure, and I'll totally get into it. Before I jump into what I'm doing, would it be okay if I asked you a couple of questions about how things are going on your end? Just to get a sense of what's going on in your world. Everything stays between us, of course.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Awesome. So most business owners I work with want more of one or a mix of these three things: growth, profit, or freedom. Out of those, which feels most important to you right now?
Probably freedom. I've been feeling a little burnt out lately, to be honest.
That's real. Why do you think that's showing up now?
I'm still wearing too many hats. We've grown, but I haven't fully replaced myself in a few key areas yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's kept you from making those moves?
I think it's mostly a trust thing. I haven't found someone I feel comfortable handing big stuff over to.
Got it. Why do you think that trust has been tough to build?
A few bad hires, honestly. Some of them were really costly, and it just made me more hesitant.
Totally understandable. So why does this feel like the moment to deal with it?
Because I'm exhausted. I feel like I'm holding everything together with duct tape, and I don't think I can keep this pace for another year.
Yeah, I hear you. What would change personally and professionally if you could delegate more confidently and actually pull back a bit?
I'd finally be able to breathe, get home for dinner with my family, not feel like I'm on call 24/7.
That's huge. And honestly, that's the kind of clarity that coaching is meant to unlock. Because yeah, strategy and structure matter, but so does your life. So just to reflect what I'm hearing, you're doing a lot. There's growth, but also overwhelm. And underneath it, it's about trust, bandwidth, and being stretched too thin, personally and professionally. Based on that, I'd love to invite you to a 90-minute discovery session with me. It's just a deeper conversation, ideally with you and 3 to 7 members of your leadership team. We'll explore what's working, what's not, and see whether Bloom Growth could be a good fit to help you get the clarity and breathing room you're looking for. What do you say?
Yeah, I'd be interested. That actually sounds really useful.
Great, happy to hear that. During that meeting, I'll facilitate a real, honest, vulnerable conversation with you and your team members. In my experience, this kind of setting helps uncover meaningful growth opportunities and reveals what's been keeping the team stuck. We can do it in person or over Zoom. I just ask that the session be distraction-free so the team can stay fully present. I'll make sure the session gives you the clarity and value you need to make the best call about Bloom Growth and working with me as your coach. How does that sound to you? Can we get your team together and start to see how we can get you what you want?
Yes, let's do it.
Awesome. I've got some time Thursday morning or next Tuesday afternoon. Either of those work?
Let's do Thursday.
Perfect. I'll send over a calendar invite as soon as I'm in front of my computer today. And seriously, thank you for the honesty today. That's where all the good work starts.
That's it. No pressure, no pitch. Just a meaningful conversation. When you show up with genuine curiosity and a heart to help, people open up. You don't need a script. You just need presence, curiosity, and a real desire to help. Let the call be a space for clarity, not pressure. What you just saw took less than 25 minutes, but it gives you a clear feel for how these conversations usually unfold. They're human, intentional, and focused on what really matters to the other person. If it's a fit, you'll know. If it's not, you still left someone better than you found them. We hope this guide helps you start powerful conversations that lead to real transformation. That concludes the warm call facilitation video. Thank you.